Raona is a company, is an international company. We are in we are in 5 countries. We started off in Spain, in Barcelona, then Madrid. Then we moved on to London, Brussels. Actually, it's 6 countries. We're in Dora as well. That's the next office we'd open. Then we went to Argentina with Buenos Aires and San Luis. And finally, we opened the office in Lisbon last year, and that's where we are now. We have more than 200 consultants worldwide. We have more than 15 years experience, and we do internet and digital content. Our partners, we've been a Microsoft Gold partner since 2003. That's where we base all our projects. Well, most of our projects, we do integrate our projects with loads of other technologies, but that's our main partner. And we've been working with Gartner for some projects and some information as well. Apart from that, Nintex, MS, Intlock and Busy there, we also work with them as well. This is some of our clients throughout the world, and basically there's been quite a high satisfaction rates within all our clients, and we're trying to get some more here in Portugal as well. So my name is Jorge Ribeiro Ferreira. I've worked in Raona for more than 15 years. In 2019, we've started a branch office here in Portugal, and I've worked with Microsoft Technologies for more than 20 years, and I've seen the market develop from file sharing to the introduction of email, collaboration tools, all the way to the cloud. That's where we are today. IT has always been my passion, and I had to keep up with technologies by doing training and certifications all throughout my life. When helping our clients, we come across several scenarios, and we try to adapt to the needs using the knowledge that we have acquired and the trends we have seen. In terms of workplace trends, for the past 10 years, we've seen an increase of four times more people are working from home now than there have been 10 years ago. Out of these, 47% of the people actually work once a week at home, and there's 4 generations in the same workplace now. There's baby boomers, there's Generation X, there's millennials, and there's Generation Z. And this year we will reach to 50% of the people that will be in the workforce are mainly millennials. We need to understand that each generation likes and their needs are and how they like to perform daily tasks. Baby boomers born between 1946 and 1964 have the highest purchasing power and were the latest of all generations to adopt the mobile technologies. Mobile penetration is growing for this age group, and 65% of baby boomers in the US owning a smartphone in 2018. They're downloading apps that mainly help them with healthy living, travel, shopping, and make life easier. In terms of work, they prefer in-person meetings and email. The Generation X was born between 1965 and 1979, and it's the bridge between millennials and the baby boomers. Numerically, they are the smallest of the generations and mainly comprise of busy professionals with families. Their online time is driven by purpose rather than entertainment, and compared to younger generations, this is a big difference. This group is more likely to use smartphones to access the internet as opposed to using desktops or laptops. When it comes to mobile time, the consumption, Generation X spends about 2.5 hours a day on their smartphones during the last quarter of 2017. And they prefer meetings with no video, email, team workspaces, and instant messaging. In terms of millennials, they were born in between 1980 and 1997 and have grown up with the internet. When it comes to using mobile phones and technology generally, social networking comes first. 80% of the millennials actually use social networking. It's followed by music, streaming, games, and communication. The app more used for millennials is actually Amazon, followed by Gmail, and then Facebook. 59% of the Generation Y, or millennials, spend at least 4 hours per day using a smartphone, and about 25%, and about 1 in 5 millennials spend 25% of their time using mobile phones. So that's a huge thing. They prefer online meetings with no video, email, team workspaces, and instant messaging. In terms of Generation Z, they were born between 1998 and 2020. Well, they're still going on, and they've been born with the internet, so they're not keen on email at all. As an example, most Generation Z will have hundreds, if not thousands, of unread emails in their mailboxes, and it shows that it's simply not their choice of communication. This group prefer visual apps like Snapchat, and they're among the biggest consumers in video content, favoring YouTube and TikTok over traditional TV. Researchers show that 75% of Gen Z consider Snapchat to be the best platform for staying connected and informed, while 71% use YouTube as the first choice channel for long-form content rather than TV. They prefer in-person meetings, online meetings with video, team workspaces, persistent chats, and conversational user interfaces. Siri and likes are becoming very popular with them. We can see some trends here. We can see that the usage of email is declining, and conversational user interfaces having the opposite trend. In terms of team workspaces, have crossed the last 3 generations, and they are on the rise as well, alongside with personal meetings. Baby boomers really liked it, and Generation X and millennials sort of stopped liking it, and Generation Z is back on the rise there. So modern workplace framework is comprised of 4 different aspects. We have identity management, we have device and apps management, productivity and collaboration, and information protection and governance. With Microsoft has developed different products to cover all these aspects of the more modern workplace framework. So for the identity management, we have Azure Active Directory. It's a bit techy. I hope it's not too techy for you guys. The device and apps management actually uses Microsoft Intune and Windows 10. And then for productivity and collaboration, we have Office 365. And for information protection and governance, we have Azure Information Protection. This was until yesterday. As of yesterday, things have changed, and Microsoft decided to aggregate all 4 aspects of the modern workplace framework and came up with a solution called Microsoft 365. Office 365 will still be in use, but this new platform actually encompasses all these
7 technologies, and you just pay one single license, and you'll get access to all these technologies. It's a much more secure, intelligent, and complete solution, and will definitely empower the employees like never before. In terms of Microsoft 365 or Office 365, how are people performing tasks? There are several tools that are part of Office 365 that are not well known, or their potential is not used to its maximum potential. In this section, I will tell you how our clients are using Office 365 to help them perform daily tasks in different ways. I'll start with helping employees with their productivity. Employees can learn their individual productivity with My Analytics. I'm sure that all of you that are in Office 365 have received emails from My Analytics. It's a new technology from Microsoft, and it shows how much time the employees are spending in meetings versus how much time they are focused on their work. It's a complete private technology, so it's only employees that see their own data. No one is allowed to see what they're doing. This is important for employees to understand, so that they don't feel they're being monitored by Microsoft or by the employer. Understand and improve the employment work pattern, gaining uninterrupted time to focus, being able to disconnect and recharge, and networking and collaborating effectively with help from My Analytics dashboard and weekly emails digests. There's actually in all emails, there's a link for you to connect to My Analytics dashboard, where you'll be able to grab a lot more information than you get from these emails. Only the employee can view the data and insights based on the work patterns in emails, meetings, calls, and chats. My Analytics is designed to protect privacy. With Office 365 tools, employees can get much more productive. They can work with a set of tools they've been working all their lives, and that's Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook. Another task that Office 365 can help enormously is to onboard new employees more effectively. Employees training can be expensive and time consuming when you're hiring new employees in multiple locations, but it's critical for the retention and the engagement. You need an easy way to make training engaging and resources and documents accessible to everyone, as an easy way to give them access to current projects, documents, and resources, introduce them to the right people, and ensure that they have the tools and knowledge to succeed. Train new employees more effectively with Microsoft Teams. That should be the main tool that you'll be using to onboard new employees, especially if they are spread around the country or around the world. You can schedule live events to host an interactive training session and answer questions in real time. You can upload all relevant training materials to the Files tab so that they are always available. Add Microsoft Stream to a tab to provide new employees access to other videos and training that you've recorded before. And to ensure new employees have access to the resources they need after they have onboarded, you can start training resources like HR forms, reference sheets, tests, quizzes, etc. in SharePoint. SharePoint acts like a repository that anyone with permissions can access at any time. When training is over, you can connect new hires with company mentors to keep them moving forward by creating a Yammer group. Yammer is basically an enterprise social network where businesses share information across teams and organize around projects. You can foster direct, free-form conversations between seasoned employees and specific departments, new hires,
by inviting them to a new group and starting a conversation. Give new hires the information they need to get started with Microsoft Teams. They will immediately have access to past conversations and any documents uploaded to the Files tab. They can use chat, audio and video to call or ask any questions about the project and understand decisions that have been made before. New hires can also use Delve to find people who have the insight to help them ramp up. Delve can help them discover information in the documents that colleagues are working on that's likely to be more interesting to them. All these tools, you can find them if you log on to office.com. You will be able to see all these tools available, and you can just check them out and take try to understand what they do. In terms of empowering people to work remotely, this is a big thing now. It's been a big thing, but since coronavirus times, it's been a huge thing. And people that were prepared suffered a lot less than people that weren't prepared. Companies that already had all documentation in the cloud gave the possibility for people to work from home much easier. Working from home takes us away from the office to things like conferences and client meetings, and now the coronavirus. When employees are working remotely, they need an easy way to make sure that they can access their work and stay in touch with their co-workers. When they save documents to OneDrive and SharePoint, employees who are away from their office will always have access to the latest version. If they're offline and they can work on their laptops offline, when OneDrive will automatically sync the next time they come back online. Companies use SharePoint as a repository to store all the latest documents and resources people need. With Office 365, you can rest assured the information employees are working with is secure no matter where it goes. With Azure information protection, you can classify data based on the sensitivity and encrypt it to manage who has access to it. And using Office 365 apps on an iOS or an Android, like Word and PowerPoint, employees can easily stay connected on the go. They can access documents from OneDrive and review or edit documents from their phone directly. HR data contains sensitive information that is comprised. HR data contains sensitive data that is valuable, and if it's compromised, it could lead to legal and business problems. Yet people need access to this data to do their jobs. You need an easy way to keep data secure and make it easily accessible to the right people. Enforce compliance and security policies to protect sensitive information with Compliance Manager in Office 365. That's a tool that basically allows you to make sure that your data is completely kept secure and confidential, and only people are allowed to access it. Enforce compliance and security policies, and that protects sensitive information with Compliance Manager in Office 365. You can also give employees permissions so they can get their job done while protecting the data. For example, you can control what information is shown, like first and last name, and what is protected, like social security numbers or even personal phone numbers. In terms of GDPR, this is completely transparent in Office 365, and there's a lot of tools to help you be compliant. Since GDPR creates requirements around how personal data is collected, stored, processed, and deleted, Office 365 provides tools and guidance to facilitate ease of discovering, governing, protecting, and monitoring the personal data in the organization. So if, for example, one employee leaves and you need to delete all the information for that specific employee, with just a few clicks, you'll be able to do so. You can actually manage your content cycle using Office 365 features to import, store, and classify business critical data so that you can keep what you need and delete what you don't. The last section of my presentation is about Microsoft 365 frontliners, or actually company frontliners. The frontliners are the people that actually work directly with your clients. They are the first with the customers, so they define the customer experience. They are the first with products, and so they are at the heart of the organization, and they are the first to represent the brand, so they are the face of your business. It's quite important to make sure that these employees are part of the company. So increasing the first line work engagement is very, very important. And Microsoft provides companies with a more cost-effective licenses for frontline workers. Most of these frontline workers don't actually work in front of a desk, so they don't have a desktop computer or a laptop. And most of the times they don't actually need a mailbox. But they still require access to the corporate resources. Retaining company talent and encouraging development can be challenging. You need to foster communication amongst first-line workers, give them flexibility and share their success across the organization to avoid the cost of hiring and training new employees. We all know that it's really important for retention. Training an employee can be very expensive and especially time consuming. And if we're replacing these employees every 3 months then, or every 6 months, then it's a huge cost for the company. And it brings, it gives lack of productivity basically. Retaining company talent and encouraging the development can be challenging. And you need to foster communication amongst them, as I said. So create a better connection between employees with Microsoft Teams. That's the first thing. Teams seems to be becoming the main tool for Microsoft. Microsoft is trying to replace email with Microsoft Teams. And first-line workers can connect to their group and others in the organization. They can use chat to get answers to questions from colleagues, and use audio or video calling for team meetings. They can see who else is working and use the @ mentions to get someone's immediate attention, since when you do an @ mention, the person will directly receives a notification if it's on the phone, and they receive an email directly. With Yammer, first-line workers can connect with a wider organization. Yammer is an enterprise social network that employees socialize in different groups and learn about important corporate news. They can join conversations, take surveys, and lend a unique perspective gained by working directly with the customers and present any problems that they might have with them. In terms of celebrating success to improve retention by creating interactive companies newsletters with Sway, you can add text and pictures, and Sway helps you transform them in interactive ways. These licenses cost a lot less than the full license. The F1 license would cost about €3, and with that, the frontline workers would have access with Teams, email, SharePoint, and the tools online. So the Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and OneNote online. They're not the desktop, and obviously in their mobile phones. And that's about it for me, for my part. Do you have any questions so far?
Okay. We'll just give a minute.
Yeah, super. Meanwhile, I will open my presentation, George.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Super. I think that you can see my screen.
Yes.
Super, fantastic. So, first of all, bom dia a todos e muito obrigado por se conectar a este webinar. Espero que você e sua família estejam bem. That's my level of Portuguese, so I will change to English. I promise to improve it, but it's so basic. So, my name is David, and well, I am a digital employee experience evangelist and also an MCA day from Microsoft, and also an Office 365 solution specialist. We now are experiencing difficult moments on a personal and professional level, but I think that these moments should serve to initiate changes or accelerate changes that that are often blocked for cultural or maybe technological or knowledge reasons. So it's a big moment to bet on that. And so let's start. So now we will have more time at the end of the session to receive your doubts or questions and about what we explain. I will start talking about the employee experience and why it's so important. But before starting with that, I would like to just to review a very important concept. There is the digital transformation. The digital transformation focus basically on 4 topics. There is optimizing operation, transforming product, engaging with customers, and empowering employees. But what happened the last years, or since 2008 until now, that we've put our focus on engaging with customers? Why? Because we have a new channel to communicate with the customers, internet. So we focus on engaging with customers in a different way. But what happens that the experience has demonstrated us that the employee experience and the customer experience are completely related. And what's the problem? That if you have a bad customer experience that is usually caused by mistakes, you have to improve your employee experience to reduce these problems. The employee experience is basically formed by 3 main pillars, 3 main topics, that is culture, technology, and spaces. When we talk about culture, we have all here the of corporate culture and the many ways to describe it. Okay, some say it's what happened when the manager leaves the room. It's possible, and others say that the culture stems from the values, attitudes, practices, and the mission of the organization. And some say that culture is controlled by the CIO. That is not right, and the executives. Typically, corporate culture is what energizes us or drains us. It motivates us or discourages us. It empowers us or it suffocates us. So it's really, really important. And we all experience the corporate culture of our organization every single day, whether it is positive or negative. So it's really, really important. The other point is the spaces. The physical workspaces is the one that we can see, touch, taste, smell. Now that we are working from home is a little bit different because our space is home, is our kitchen, is our living room, or maybe is the terrace that if you are lucky you have, or the garden. But is the space, is the art of the that hangs on the walls, the office floor plan, the demographics of the people we work with, the old, young, diversity, and any physical perks we might get, such as catered meals in a beautiful cafeteria, an on-site gym, or a lunch area that employees can use to unwind a bit. But what is really, really important on these spaces that These spaces are connected to us through technology, okay? And the third pillar, in this case is technology. That is our areas of expertise. The technological environment of the organization refers to the tools that all the employees use to get their jobs done. This includes everything from the internal social network your company might use to mobile devices that are approved to the laptops, desktops, and video conferencing solutions that employees have access to. This also includes any apps, software, learning tools, and user experience, and design elements that impact how employees use the various tools. So it affects a lot of parts, not only the physical part of the technology, but also the software and the experience of the software. The technology is central nervous system of the organization, and most concepts and terms related to the future of work are not possible without technology. So it's not the objective, that is the mean. So just some figures: 71% of employees want a company they work to provide the same level of technology as they use in their personal lives, because in our personal lives we are using amazing tools, but the moment that we cross the door, that we open the door of our company, it's like going back 10 years. So it is not supposed to be like that. We have the same level, so we have to use the same strategy that they are using in our personal life to put it in our personal life. 80% of executives rate the employee experience as very important for their business. 78% of IT leaders say that projects related with digital employee experience are a higher priority compared with 2 years ago, and is now accelerated due to COVID-19. And one thing that is important regarding the employee experience is that 33% of an employee annual salary is the cost that implies an employee leaving the company and having to hire another person to reach a level of productivity. So it's not that you're not only losing talent, you're not only losing a valid person, but you are also losing money. So you have to try to invest on the persons to avoid this loss of talent. Okay, so what we talk about these three pillars: the cultural environment, the physical environment, the technological environment, and how the cultural environment, the purpose, I understand the vision and how what is expected for me, what I have to do in my company, the values of my company, and how I feel related with that values. The technology, as I told you 2 slides before, the tools that I have to do my job, and what's more important is to understand how to use it, how to use these tools to get the most. Okay, and the physical is the environment that inspires me and supports me, so that make me feel enabled. Okay, so this is the real experience, employee experience design loop. The company works to design experience that imply changes or improvements in the company corporate culture, technology, or physical spaces. The employees take that change and experiment with it. That change can make them feel more or less engaged, enabled, or empowered, and give feedback about it to the organization. So it's a continuous improvement process. So every time we have to define experience that our employees have to test and give us feedback about that experience. And so that the company knows if it must be redesigned. We must redesign the experience to be better for the employee, or to obtain the change that we expected. So before we start designing an experience, we have to define the goals, what we want to do, what we want to achieve. And why is so important to invest in the employee experience? For instance, you can reduce in a 24% lower turnover. You can reduce the quality incidents, you can increase your sales. All those indicators are taken from Forrester, so you can see it on a web. But we will share this presentation with you. And one thing that is really important, and my colleague Jorge mentioned at the beginning of his presentation, that 3 or every 4 workers in 2025 will be millennials. It means that now in 2020 we have almost 50% of our colleagues that are millennials. And yeah, millennials are not alien. I mean, there are persons like I'm not a millennial, I'm a Gen X, but they are different because they are digital native. I mean, they were born with a device on his hands. They're born with a connection to internet. That is something that is not usual for us. Okay. So millennial is the less engaged generation at work. They don't work as we Gen X work for big companies to feel safe and comfortable, or baby boomers because they have to work, or traditionalists because they are happy to have a work. They need a purpose. They need the things that they value, the things that they need to be engaged with the company and to feel that they need to work with that company. Okay, and 80%, 82% of the millennials believe that the workplace technology will influence them to decide the accept of a new job. What does it mean? It means that here we have the talent battle. Here we have the problem, because they will go to another company that offers them better solutions in terms of the tools that they have to use to do their work. Just to resume, the digital employee experience, it includes all the digital interactions that the employee have with its company. The most common topics covered will be communication, collaboration, processes, content, and knowledge. And we know all the pains that we used to have in our digital environment when we used to work with more static channels of communication, like the intranet. That is, you enter the intranet on Monday and you enter this intranet a week later and you see practically the same content, because it's just a communication one-to-one. I mean, I'm an employee and I consume the information, but I don't give you my feedback. I cannot participate in that communication. And on the other hand, what we have is I don't have the possibility to use tools as used in my personal life, like WhatsApp, in my corporate environment, because I don't have a solution to cover that necessity. So it means that I have to use WhatsApp. So is a leak of information, is a problem, because I can lose my device and someone can take my information, my corporate information, from this device. So we all know more or less all the pains that we have in our digital environment. And the big catalyzer of the big trigger for the change of the digital employee experience is the digital workplace. And we had the internet in 2010 that was more focused on benefit, on hierarchy, on control, on planification, and privacy. And in 2020, we have digital workplace that is more focused on purpose, on network, on accountability, on experimentation, on transparency. Is a different way to manage all the content, because as we mentioned, we have different users accessing this content, and that technology has act as a facilitator, enabling all the things that we thought in the past and that now are possible. We can do things that 5 years ago were impossible. We're only on the movies and our mind, but now it's possible to do that. And as I told you before, the digital workplace for us has to cover 5 main axes. The first one is collaboration, how I relate with my colleagues; communication, how I get the information from my company and how I give my feedback to the company; content, I have to be sure that the content that I am consuming is the last version, the single version of a document. I have to ensure that, and not to ask my colleagues if they have the last policy of any document that I need to do my work, or the last template. The processes, we have to try to automatize at maximum the processes that I have to do every single week, and for sure the knowledge. None of this access will have sense without the knowledge. We have to ensure that all our users, all our digital workplace users, has the same level of dexterity, not only literacy, knowing that I have a digital workplace, but dexterity, how to get the maximum from the tools that I give to them. Okay, and for sure ensure that they are growing and growing with all the digital tools that we as a company give to our employees. Perfect. Let's start with the digital workplace. Now that we are on a path and we are more connected to the idea. Fantastic. So it's obvious that we believe that the digital workplace is a building block. I mean, we need a digital workplace. It's not enough with an intranet, because an intranet, as I told you, is just one tool in. I mean, I publish something and you consume it. It's not the idea. The digital workplace is something that is more connected with everything, with all the tools that I have in my organization. So David, me as an employee, I have to enter to a window and see what's happening around me, what's happening in terms of my company, the brand of my company. I don't have to read all the communication outside my company. I must be one of the first to read that information inside my company. I need to have access to all the collaboration tools that I have and get the feedback, the direct feedback from the tools. I mean, knowing if I have tasks to do, and if a colleague that is working in the same project that I'm working with has published a document, all that things that allows me, once I switch on my computer, turn on my computer and start works, I receive all that kind of information, and from that I start work, I start moving around my company. Okay, so for us, the digital workplace is a catalyst element of the digital culture, and therefore of the employee engagement, the employee experience. It must be customizable, extensible, obviously mobile first, and has to help us as employees in our day-by-day task. Okay, it's different. There are a lot of different approaches. You have the possibility to buy a product. You have the possibility to get a platform, to start with development, or to use accelerators. In our case, we do it by using accelerators, because an accelerator for us is it can reduce the time to market. It means an accelerator is done by the experience that we already have in different customers. So we can deliver a solution in only 3 months. You can customize it. It's not like a product that you put the product working and you have to adapt to the product, and not only in reverse. And obviously you take profit of the license, the products and features that you're already paid for in Office 365. And as I told you, has been already tested in a lot of customers with a lot of different users. So we got good feedback and good insights from the use of the accelerator. What is really important is to give voice to your employees. Okay, bi-directional communication, get feedback, communicate in a car form. Our decision was to show the information really more similar to Pinterest than using a vertical solution like Facebook, because Facebook at the end you can lose important information, and using this Pinterest paradigm allows you to see the maximum information that you can publish. So it's really nice, and it's really is a good employee experience in that term, with different utilities, as I mentioned before, is using the same tools that we are using outside the company, inside the company, to get it more easy to adopt that solution. Focus always on the employee, always. Different things like, is your birthday, you got a birthday card, put in micro surveys, the possibility to have videos to enrich the communication with videos and images for sure. With the hub, is the hub of communication. You control the content, you define to which audience do you want to send this content, where do you want to send it, who has the possibility to approve the content, the communication. So you have a lot of possibilities, and you can even customize in order to adapt to how the communications are treated inside your company. And you can get that content from different sources inside your company: internal communication, surveys, news, external publications on your website. So it's just a point of connecting. Obviously, as I mentioned before, it's very important to have to filter the information, to get the information that is really valuable for you as an employee, based on categories that are natural categories, not categories that are related with your structure, with your hierarchy, but natural categories, meaning that if I want to look for information that is related with persons, I must create, as a owner of my digital workplace, I must create a category that is named persons and not human resources, because it's a natural way to search the information. It's like because human resources is the name of the area of department that can change in the future, but persons will be always the same. Okay, going a little bit faster to recover the time. Okay, organize spaces. If you already have Office 365, you have inside your company a massive search engine that is what is provided with SharePoint. Okay, so you have Google inside your home, you have Google inside your company. Why do you don't use it? It's very, very important to start using the search and to again take the behavior that you have in your house, that you, once you open a browser, you search on Google, the same behavior in the company. So to have the possibility to search and to show information related with different scopes, persons, communications, documents, tiles, whatever. So it's very important to order that content that you offer your employees, but give them the possibility to search in a natural way, Google-like search. Okay. So we can use also artificial intelligence to promote information. We can classify the information and rate it. You can use different kind of information. You can modify it by the needs that you have. I mean, for instance, 3 months ago, I was working on the best workplace to go. Best workplace to work, or best place to work. Sorry. And so I was working on a project, working on a set of documents, and I put it on my home, on my digital workplace because it's something that I'm working on. But now I'm working in a different way, in a different project. So I take this tile and put another one. So it's the difference. It's something that you can customize and you can make it yours, not something static, something that can be dynamic. Time is money, and we know that we have to provide a way to the people that create content to make it very, very easy, in a very intuitive way, with a preview, uploading documents, uploading images, and put it in a fast way, put in a date to all of the communication to be published in a specific date. And as I mentioned at the beginning, communication at your fingertips, meaning that mobile first. We have to think about all the people that are not working in the headquarters, that are working as a commercial, traveling from one side to another, and frontline workers that are working maybe doing some, I don't know, whatever outside the company, and they don't have a laptop, a corporate laptop, or they don't have a personal computer. They only have a mobile device, personal or not personal. And we have to provide them the possibility to get at least the information, the communications related with the company, at least that, to engage with that employee. So you get access to your corporate the corporate user account. Even we have some experiences connecting with a customized identity service. So what allow us is to include frontline workers without Office 365 license in our digital workplace. So it's obviously is a benefit because you don't pay for that license. Yeah, it's a different way to enter and to get the information. And you have the same experience that all the colleagues in headquarters have. So the same communications, the same reactions. You can react to that communications. You can give your feedback. You can share it. And you can access the content that you need in order to do your work if it's necessary. Social benefits, document packs, whatever. Okay. The corporate search, put it on your mobile phone, so you can have your Google-like search engine in your mobile phone and get the information that you need anytime, anywhere. And to feel close to the company, to be related with the company, that communication channel with the company that allows you to get suggestions, comments, feedbacks, and make you this I belong to that company. That is very, very important. Get notification, not only alerts, but also push notifications in your device. And for sure, as I mentioned on the design loop, what is really, really important is to define goals. To define goals at the beginning. Maybe that goals are too optimistic and too pessimist, but we have to define these goals. And once we have arrived to the end of the thing that we have designed and we have put live, we have to review that goals and see if we have to adjust it to be more optimistic or if we have to do action plans to recover what we have not achieved, to get to the point that we really want. So it's really, really important that the digital workplace not only gives you usage analysis, it means what are my employees doing, but also the adoption, the trends between using more tools like Teams, for instance, or getting the communications through my digital workplace instead of all the communications that now I'm sending through an email. We have to see the trends and compare and try to educate that behavior on our employees. Super. Now some success stories, very fast. We have deployed this kind of solution, the kind of accelerator on different customers around not only Spain, but also the world. So as I mentioned before, is a very proven, tested solution. So we have good feedback from them. And let me just point some of them that I think would be interesting for you. Also the mobile experience, that is practically the same. Some of the customers that we have been working with. And let me just show you a few of them. For instance, this one is the digital workplace that we built from to Fira Barcelona. Fira Barcelona is the organizers of the Mobile World Congress, and was impulsed by the change that the organization would like to have. So it's about 500 users, 2 physical spaces, and this digital workplace was aligned with the business objectives to become a high productivity organization, to increase internal presence, and to foster the collaboration culture. So we have, before we start the project, we have measured based on the Digital Workplace Index, that is a tool that Gartner has provided us. The 5 axes: the work anytime, anywhere, the foster collaboration culture, the employee engagement, the power company, and the boost personal performance. This indicator in the initial phase has been measured by surveys and also looking at the different tools that they have, how these tools are updated or the use that they have. So we have this picture at the beginning, and once we apply the digital workplace, we have increase in the areas, in the axis that we really want to increase. Okay, obviously this digital workplace index depends on your sector. I mean, it's different from one sector to another. The industrial sector, for instance, work anytime, anywhere, has not much sense as a different sector, or the pharma will be different from another one. But we have the experience in different sectors, so we know exactly which one is the axis that we want to potentiate. In this case, was for different experience in the solution. In the digital workplace was the tool called Solution Source. HP, we all know HP, and in this case, it's the HP Print Services. It's about 15,000 users, if I'm not wrong, worldwide, and also aligned with the business objectives: promote content to the employee, ensure the quality of the content, quick access to the HP Print Services assets, about 10,000 assets, and to make it dynamic and productivity. To make the HP a dynamic and productive company. This tool is used for the users to make all the business process. I mean, to sell the services around HP print devices. So it's really important for them, and it's not only based on the digital work. It's not only based on the content itself, but also related with the communication, a new way to communicate with the users, and it covers all the regions in the world, from Americas to APG to Japan, Asia and Japan. Go to the next again. It's something that we do at the beginning of our projects. We measure the starting point, and we define the goals, and we measure the goal that we have achieved after putting this product in line. Sorry. Another one is Ferronet, that is Ferrovial. Ferrovial is one of the world's leading infrastructure operators and municipal services company. It's huge, enormous, and we give service. This digital workplace gives service to around 90,000 employees, more or less, around the world, because Ferrovial, what Ferrovial does is to buy companies and put it into his structure. So it's a big change every time they buy a company. Due to this increase, this growth that they have, they need to establish a kind of common frame for all the workers. So we define with them a digital workplace to spread the brand, to spread the communications between the different companies. Obviously, we have put a lot of effort in the change management, because we have trained a lot of people to ensure that they have a right to a minimum base of digital dexterity. And what is very powerful for them was the business process integrated, that we prepared a special space for them in order to make all the processes that we have, from buying a laptop to asking from I don't know, for holidays. So very, very huge. And again, we have measured at the beginning, and once we have achieved after 2 years of the project. And I think that is the last one. Lidl, that is a big company. Well, in this case, it's 100% mobile. It's not used from desktop. Only in headquarters use the desktop, but just to put all the communications and publish the communications to the people that are working in the supermarkets, people from that I don't know, are driving the trucks or whatever. So we have put this application, this digital workplace experience was built to be in the hands of the people that are not connected with the Lidl every day, and they had a big turnover in. So we put that mobile application in order to provoke more engagement with the first line workforce, to get more feedback from them, to use surveys, gamification techniques in order to get more about how is the customer experience in the supermarket. Remember one of the first slides, the relation between employee experience and the customer experience. So Lidl thought that it was very important to potentiate the employee experience to get a better customer experience. And again, we measure at the beginning, and these are the results. And Almirai, another different, and that will be very, very similar to, in this case, to Ferrovial. Almirai is a pharma company with 13 affiliates around the world, 70 countries, 5 continents, and more than 2,000 employees. Obviously, they have to be connected, and they thought that the best way, and we work with them to define this digital workplace as the best way to connect with all the companies that they have, and to get information in a quick way and not outside the company, from inside the company, and also to connect all the systems that we already have, the ERPs, the SIP, the CRM, the success stories, and all the different systems around connected to the digital workplace, in order that every time I open this page, I have all the information that I have, my main page of the digital workplace. I have all the information that I need to do my work. And again, the index that we measured at the beginning, and once we have deployed the project. And just for last, let me just show you the main tools in Office 365 that you have to put the focus on to get the real digital employee experience, and extract real value. That's the image that we can have when we enter a company. It's like, okay, I have is a disgrace. I have a lot of tools to do the same. So the first thing that we have to do is to explain the user which tool do they have to use. If they want to collaborate, it's the example that we have internally, the definition of this circle of power, this adoption, this governance of the adoption of the solutions. In our case, for instance, we have defined that for collaboration, we have to use Teams and SharePoint, because we have 2 different kinds of projects or 2 different kinds of contents to work with in terms of collaboration. Projects that have a start and an end, we use Teams. Projects that are more an ongoing project, we use SharePoint, because they need less conversation, and Teams allows you to join conversation to create that union between the conversation and the content. In terms of content, we use SharePoint and OneDrive for Business. SharePoint as the main enterprise repository, so the main enterprise content management, and obviously OneDrive for Business is your personal content. So instead of using your hard drive, you have to use OneDrive for Business. And for sure, in this icon that is LMS 365, that is a learning management system that I will explain later. But it's part of the content, it's part of the knowledge that we want to get about the company. And in terms of communication, we use 4 main tools. First one is Teams. That is the one that will substitute the Skype for Business. That will need another webinar. This substitution between Skype for Business and Teams. I don't know if some of you are suffering this, but we are helping our customers in order to move from Skype for Business to Teams, because it's main in this part in the communication they have practically the same features. Okay. And we still have Skype for Business just to communicate with some of our customers. And obviously Outlook, a change, because for those who have more than 35 years, the main tool to start working seems to be the Outlook or the Change. It's a strange behavior, but it's what we learn. And this A that we see here is our digital workplace. So what is important to do for the user is for the employees to explain which tool do they have to use. Okay, those are the tools. These are the tools that we promote in our customers to start using, from SharePoint to the Power Platform that is created, that is built with Power Automate, Power BI, and Power Apps. Let us just a quick review of all of them. SharePoint is the big known and the big unknown. I mean, it's really huge. It's very, very powerful, and it's not only enterprise content management. I mean, not only to manage all the content that moves around the organization and to tag it and to search it, and it's also something, a building block on top you can build your digital workplace or internet. Okay, so it's really, really powerful. Teams is is a trending tool. Everyone is using Teams. Just to mention, from October 2019, we had about 30 million users active daily, and now we have 44 million users active daily. So it's huge. It's a big amount of users that have started using Teams. And I'm happy with that, because I'm a great promoter of Teams. And Teams allows you to work as a project hub. Okay, you can use it also to communicate as a substitute of Skype for Business, but it's mainly used as a project hub, or may be used as a project hub. Okay, where you can find our conversation, content, task, minutes, indicators, everything you need to do your work must be included in Teams, and you can follow all the life cycle of a project from the beginning to the end, to archive the project, and then to get that content, move it to SharePoint, and allow the user to get the experience that you have learned in that project, and becomes a corporate knowledge. And allows you obviously work close to your colleagues now that we are working remote. Microsoft Planner. I don't know if you are using Trello or Asana or any other task planificator, but if you are paying Office 365, why do you don't use Planner? Planner is very easy, very simple. I mean, you cannot expect Planner to do things that it don't do, because it's very simple, but in a very effective and easy way allows you to create plans, organize and assign tasks, share files, and be informed of the progress. So it's very, very easy to use. You can include and connect in a natural way with Teams, and also with SharePoint, and with all the Office 365 ecosystem. Obviously, Microsoft OneNote, that is a very old tool, but has increased his power and his features, and allows you to organize all the content that you have to manage in terms of your teamwork. Power BI, very important, is the democratization of the data. I mean, allow the people to connect to a source and prepare reports, amazing reports, and be able to take decisions in real time. So it's very, very powerful, and we all really recommend to use it. Microsoft Power Platform that is built with 3 different products: Power BI, what was called Flow, that is now Power Automate, and Power Apps is what Microsoft called a triple A cycle, that is analyze, act, and automate, and is the low-code freedom. I mean, without a very deep knowledge of technical development, you can create a very beautiful solution in order to automate the process that you have to do every day or every week or every month. So it's very, very interesting to start using this one, but it requires a more mature model inside the company. I mean, we recommend to start from the basics, and after that go into this kind of solution. And the last one that is not included in LMS in Office 365, but for us is really, really important, is LMS 365, because it's the learning management system for the modern digital world. But it's built into Office 365, connects perfectly with SharePoint and Microsoft Teams, allows you to play SCORM and AI packages. So you can do the training that you used to do in a physical way, let's say, in a learning system. So you can do webinars, you can do e-learning courses, you can send that courses to a specific role, or it can be approved for a specific manager. So it's really, really similar to Coursera or all the platforms that you have outside your company, but you will have inside your company. So you can create a training path and ensure that people are doing the training that they need to get that dexterity that they need to do the work. And obviously it has caducity in terms of competencies, training paths, and whatever. So it's very, very complete, and is a tool that we used to recommend to our customers in order to manage all the learning and the company. But the learning is something that can be also managed in Microsoft Teams. So if you want to go a step beyond that, you can start thinking on having a learning management system like LMS 365. And I think that I almost nailed it, sorry. So now it's time for questions. So if you have any questions regarding all the information that we have given you, I don't know if you have any questions. So let's start. Let me stop sharing my screen. And now, any questions from your side? Just to clarify, we will publish this video and the material that we have shown, and you will have it on our website or our social networks, so you can download it and enjoy and share with the colleagues that you want.
Yes, and we'll probably send you a link for the video as well till the end of the week, probably.
So I think that's quite it. So Jorge, I don't know if you want to add something, or we can.
No, that's about it. If you do need any information, you do have our contacts, and do write us with any queries, with any doubts, with anything that you might have, and we'll try to reply as soon as possible.
I really appreciate that you've turned up for the webinar. I hope it wasn't too long, and I hope to see you again soon. So thank you very much, everyone, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Get safe.